Survivorship, treatment, access, and research, the four major concerns facing the childhood cancer community, and they're now being addressed in a new House bill that just cleared the Senate. Please welcome Congressman McCaul, co-chair of the Childhood Cancer Caucus, here to tell us more about the STAR Act. Good morning to you.
Good morning,
I am
Melissa.
so glad you're here.
Me too.
And you have been so supportive of children with cancer, and as a mom who's dealt with this very personally, I cannot thank you enough on behalf of all parents who are dealing with this and their children.
Thank you.
Let's talk about what this means and what the point of it is.
It really elevates the priority and the mission to defeat childhood cancer within the National Institute of Health. It also allows doctors to share data registries about patients, about survivors. As you know, survivors, when the cancer is cured, there are many issues that still remain throughout their lifetime. And we've taken basically a World War I chemical agent, chemo, and injected it into their body to kill the cancer before it kills you. And so the problem is there are long-term survivorship issues. With each of the patients, and it also gives access for research, biospecimen repository, so that we can do more research on these rare forms of childhood cancers that are out there. This is the most comprehensive childhood cancer ever passed by the United States Congress. I chair the Childhood Cancer Caucus to raise awareness in Congress about this #1 killer of our children. So I was very pleased that we got this done.
Yeah, it's a big deal because childhood cancer is the least funded of them all, which is so frustrating for anyone who's ever been through it, especially rare cases. I mean, so many times pharmaceutical companies say they just can't afford to offer a treatment for just a few kids. Well, a child's life is a child's life. Tell that to a parent who has no hope. I mean, this is going to make a difference for those folks.
And it will. And why aren't we prioritizing our children who have their whole life in front of them? As opposed to adults, and adults deserve funding as well, but only 4% of the National Cancer Institute funding goes to childhood cancers. And so this bill puts a pediatric oncologist on the board at NCI to make funding decisions and determinations. We think that's going to also increase the funding now for the first time for childhood cancer.
And what about access? How does that part help people? Is this for people who are maybe in rural areas where they don't necessarily have a huge Texas Medical Center in their backyard, or how will that help?
It's more access to these biospecimens, it's access to data registries. It's kind of like, you know, after 9/11 we found out, gee, we didn't connect the dots, we weren't sharing information.
Right.
Well, the doctors don't share information about childhood cancer with their patients or survivors. So this allows the doctors now to put the dots together, to share information about their patients with each other, whether they're the disease itself or their survivorship issue. And I think it's going to make a big difference.
Well, thank you for leading the way through all of this. We are so proud of you, and I really cannot thank you enough. Congressman McCaul, appreciate you.
Thank you.
More than you'll ever know.
I'm so glad your son's doing so well.
Thank you. Really appreciate that.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.